Hey guys, this is Graham from Mad Rat. How can I help you? So, I've had a lot on my mind lately, but the biggest thing that I wanted to talk about was very, very morbid. Um, so if you don't like thinking about mortality, please click off this video because I have been thinking about it a lot and I wanted to express it and maybe it'll help distract me. So, because I started taking the lamictal, I finally started gaining consciousness. And a lot of people, my brothers um and even myself, okay, not a lot of people, it was just my brothers, but they told me that once you gain consciousness, that's the first thing you think about is like mortality, death. And I've been thinking about it a lot. I don't know what happens after death, but I'm trying to get to the bottom of it. That's a weird thing because nobody knows what happens. But like there are like a lot of different theories. People like to not think about death. There's a theory where it's like you distract yourself or you go into a religion. And the religion part seems like the better idea because it instills hope. It instills just like, comfort that when you die, it's not over. You go to heaven and stuff like that. And for me, it's a little hard to just say that religion is right. But it's also a little hard for me to say that there is no consciousness after death. So, like, something is up. Because, like, quantum physics says it's not over. But logically, people just experience nothing. And nothing to me feels like sleep. When you sleep, the power's off. There's nothing. And then you just wake up and you start the next day. It's almost like everything is turned off. You don't remember thing. You're not even there. And it's like death is a permanent version of that, where there is nothing. And that's what terrifies me. It's harder for me to go to sleep now thinking that sleep might be death. However, jeez, I burned myself. Jeez, do you see this? This was me from trying to get the keys in my car when the wheel was locked and I didn't know. Jeez, don't drive old cars. It's fucking annoying. I have to do this with my car every fucking time. It's fucking annoying. But anyways, don't do impulsive things like me or you're gonna get hurt. Um, but you're not gonna die, and that's the theme of this video. So, going back to the topic, I was doing research and I saw that there was like a famous study where somebody was in the surgery room, and I think it was either a near-death experience or they were temporarily dead. I can't remember, but one of those two. And as they apparently, um, they could figure out like one thing, which was, it felt like they knew exactly the tools that the surgeon were using on them and they remember the conversations that they had and the music that was playing. And that is interesting because consciousness just doesn't seem like it's possible to go away. I don't know why. I really want to believe it too. But like there's it's weird to me that we've had all this time and we haven't figured it out. Um, Sources tell me that it may happen in the 22nd century, or maybe in our time, but hopefully it happens in our time because I don't want to die. Nobody does. Hopefully we can find something that helps us age. But anyways, mortality is freaky. One of the things that I've noticed is my heart starts going like this, and my mind just starts worrying, and then the more deeper I get into it, it just sickens me. It makes me sick knowing that there is a possibility that we sleep forever. And it doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense. Um, People get into comas, people go into surgeries, and they don't see anything. You're still alive. But It's just weird because why am I conscious of what happens when I go to sleep? Why am I conscious of the fact that I know that there is nothing? Something's off. And there's also dreams, and dreams are weird because dreams means you're conscious in yourself, and that's another thing that just fucks with me. Is like, how are we able to experience dreams when we see nothing? What if we were a dream? I don't fucking know. Um, but nobody has the answer. Some scientists are religious. Some religious. I don't think any religious person would be secular. That's fucking crazy. But when it comes to religion, like the Bible just has so many inaccuracies. And people, and like, I also think about it, and it's just like, okay, but what about the Roman gods and the ancient Egyptian gods and all those other gods that were detested? Like, it doesn't make any sense. How are, how are they like fucked and forgotten, but a monotheistic God isn't forgotten? And I mean, there's three major religions. You know, there's Judaism, there's Muslim, and there is Christian. And it was kind of funny because I was asking ChatGPT if you were one of those three religions, what would it be? They said Jewish. It was kind of funny because I was just like, why? Because they don't really care. Like, you know, they don't. It doesn't seem like it's like a force thing. You know, they don't force anybody to go. I would have to look up the thing. Yeah, I was like, oh, is it biased because I'm Jewish? And it's like, no, it didn't say that. It was kind of funny though. Um, but yeah, it just like another thing that I'm thinking about is like, what if like there was a way to strand DNA and like get a bit of DNA and then put us in a machine and then we get consciousness back. Like we die, but then we wake up in a time where we are conscious somewhere else. That would be crazy. That would be crazy. Um, I don't know why, but I just don't feel like nothing is forever. I know there was a time that we were born, but some of me feels like I remember when I was in the embryo. Some of me remembers me seeing the light for the first time. Some of me remembers not even seeing anything at all, just a darkness. Why do I remember that? I don't know. But like again, what about the constant sperm cells that don't go in the ovaries? Do they die? Do they have conscious? Are we just gigantic sperm cells? I don't know. But it almost feels like sleeping is time travel. But you're just moving forward. You can never go back, but it's like you're moving forward. How can it be that we see nothing yet we don't move forward? It doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't at all. Like I'm kind of glad that I've gotten consciousness later than I should have because it's not it's scary, but it feels like there's too many more possibilities than just nothing. I'll definitely talk about being Jewish tomorrow. It's a whole thing, but it's just weird. Death is weird, and I have to sit with it. And it's crazy that a lot of people like know that we have one life, and a lot of people fuck it up. Some people kill themselves. I couldn't understand how anybody would have not the courage. The courage to kill oneself is such a bad way to say it. Um, but like the cojones to kill themselves. I just don't get it because that's your one life, and you don't know what comes out of the other end, and it's crazy to me. It's crazy because consciousness is so beautiful. It's beautiful because like being in this realm is so beautiful. You get to have all the fun in the world. Well, I guess for me it's fun. A lot of people it's not fun. I got lucky. And I feel like lucky people are the ones who don't want to die. But I'm grateful every day that I'm living because I got lucky. A lot of people don't. A lot of people have bad situations. I mean, maybe it's karma. I don't know. There's also the Hindu and Buddhist religion as well. I didn't think about that too. And they got their own thing. Reincarnation sounds not the worst because what if reincarnation theory was basically us time traveling to a future where our programming, we are programmed into a system? Like, what if AI knew all about us and when we die, we time travel to the point where they figure out how to bring consciousness back? Because when we die, we would time travel to that point. So I'm wondering if, and then after that, we would never die. But then you would have to account that for billions and billions of people. And then the world would get flooded by mass people. But by that time, we could probably space travel. It'd be fucking Futurama and that shit. Maybe that's what the Jewish people were talking about, like the new world. Like there isn't heaven, there isn't hell, but there's a new world. Like, what if the new world was way advanced in the future and we didn't know? What if they prophesized the new world? What if they knew that when somebody died, like they also time traveled too? And the craziest part is we won't remember. I wish I knew my past life. Something I said to myself was that my past life was some guy in the one random soldier in Napoleon's army that got cannonballed in the face. That's a pretty gruesome end. But when I saw that in a movie, I just kind of had this like, huh. Like I just had this moment. It's like I don't know what it was, but I just got startled. And I just remember that for some reason. So maybe that was a past life? I don't know. Death is so uncertain. There's so many ideas that people can come up with death. But I really hope, well, there's something that scares me. Like, if we did figure out death, one side or the other would freak out. Like, freak the fuck out. It would be either religious people or the atheist people. If we found out. But, my boss believes in aliens, and I'm wondering if like he believes in aliens based off logic. I can't remember what that theory was, but he said there was a theory. But like, if aliens exist, what if the world was really small and it was just like aliens? What if, I mean, we're aliens technically to aliens, but what if the world was like a little fishbowl for like an alien and like, I don't know, like, fuck, I don't know. I'm really scared. But I called my girlfriend. She told me one thing, like, I just need to distract myself. That's the best way to do it. Um, and distracting myself is really hard because I just keep jumping to that conclusion that there's going to be nothing. But I think the best way to go around it is to believe in hope, whether that's a god or whether that's just your instinct. I want to believe in hope. I feel like I want to hope that the people who die in our military or die from an accident or die from a natural disaster or die because whatever, that, you know, that there is something for them. I know everyone throughout history has suffered in different ways, and that suffering has caused suffering, or caused suffering. But like, to be completely honest, if we all suffer, then maybe in the new world everybody gets a chance. But what happens when I just don't believe consciousness dies. I believe that we are nothing, but we time travel to a point. Like we time travel to another galaxy. Like maybe. Because like well, I think we'll be on the same planet, but everyone's consciousness will, like, what if it, oh my God, you know what would be the best theory? If it was simulation theory and we were all stuck in a real internet, like the internet was just a prototype for what was actually going on. I'm not sure. Mm. Because then you can think of it in another way, like, what if that guy in my previous life died, and then he time traveled to a point where it's me, and I didn't know. And then my next life, like, I remember, hey, I know that card game. Something about it just seems awfully familiar, like deja vu. And that's another thing. Deja vu is weird because I swear I've had dreams and then they actually happen in real life. Like it's fucking weird. Or thoughts. Deja vu exists. There's just so many coincidental things that just happen that make life way more complex and death way more less scary. But that's just stuff that I have to come up with in order to feel good. I feel like distracting yourself means coming up with your own answer and then just accepting it. Whether it's God or simulation or, time travel to a future consciousness. I feel like as long as I hope and hold on for a better like future, I feel like and like better as long as I hold on to some belief, like my final belief, um, that there's hope after death. Because I just don't think hope will ever die, even if we're dead. I feel like there'll still be hope for everybody. And what would be so cool? If this theory is like my stupid final belief is correct, all those people who are programmed into a computer based off their DNA, like, what if, like, we could learn about history so well? We could learn about the ancient Romans and George Washington and like all those different things. Another thing I was thinking about, now this is a weird one, is what if us getting buried in the ground, let's just say that, like, let's say we didn't have a coffin and we didn't get cremated. Like, what if we were buried in the ground without anything? Um, and then the tree grows, people eat the apples, and then, like, if someone plants a seed, the tree grows, somebody eats one of the fruits, something like that, like, and then they're a sperm cell again, like we're a sperm cell again, and then we're the one to make it. That's like another theory, which is crazy because like you could either have it one two ways. Like you could be another cell, right? You could be another sperm cell, or your body's in a coffin or a cremation thing, right? And literally, like all you have to do is just unbury the body because people don't like fucking get rid of cremation unless they do. That's a waste. But like, what if they like, unbury the bodies, take a strand of whatever, take some DNA, swab up DNA, put it online. But then like, what about all the people who are just rotting, forgotten? Those people are not lucky. But like at the same time, it's like, what if they were? I don't know. It's just come in my head and I just really wanted to get it out there. But I think my conclusion is like my final belief is that whatever's out there, um we whatever's out there in the unknown, I feel like hope will still always exist. Like the hope for a new life. And that's a weird belief, but anyways, if you liked what you heard, which you probably didn't, please leave a like. Tell me what you think death is in the comments. And if you can brave this storm with me, if you had braved this storm with me, um please leave a subscription. Please subscribe. That would be great. This is Grant from Mad Rat, and hope I was able to help. Have a good one, guys.